What is happening, all you happy tool peeps? We are back here in the shop today to check out some really awesome new tools that we've got going. Well, some of them are new, some of them are old, but as you've seen in the description, we're gonna go through, in my opinion, the top 10 tools that save me time here in the shop. Stupid glasses, it's really nice. I've been waiting for a while to get some new contacts, so finally got them, and this is awesome. Here back working in the shop, and the 10 tools that I've picked, they're not all snap-on tools, but they're tools that just in general save time. Everybody's found that one tool that turns that 10-minute job into a 3-minute job. And when you're working flat rate in this kind of business, it really makes a difference in the long run. It really does help. At my top 10 tools that are gonna save the most amount of time. So as a flat rate mechanic working on automobiles, which I am, you guys might have something different. You might be a diesel mechanic, you might be working on trains or whatever, but in my field, working as a flat rate tech, these are the tools that I find save me the most time throughout my day. First one that we come to is the mini ductor. This thing uses inductive heat, puts out a whole bunch of amperage through these coils, inducts this into a bolt, and it heats it up cherry red without having to use a torch. It's a really neat tool. And these heads, you're able to get bigger ones, smaller ones, whatever ones you need to fit into whatever space you need. And not very many people have seen these. They work great, especially if you're like by gas tanks and you can't have an open flame. This is the way to do it. Let's see how this thing works real quick. So as you can see, we have a very rusty sway bar link bolt. This is where this tool really shines. We're going to show you just how this thing works with its induction heat. We're going to be able to put this thing right over the bolt. It's not even hardly touching it, just put it over it and pressing the buttons, turning now. It's going to heat it up through, like I said earlier, induction. Vibrates the particles in that bolt, heating it up without any flames. This thing works great for suspension parts. It works even better when you're talking about getting things loose around gas tanks, so you don't have to have open flames around fuel tanks. That nut, it has the nylon coating inside of it. If anybody's ever done sway bar links before, you know that these things, they just spin because this nylon likes to hang on to everything and it won't ever let loose. So we're able to heat this bolt up real hot in a matter of 20-30 seconds here. Now we're even smoking. All in all, it's a great tool. Next one we come to are these right here. These are wire piercing tools. They come with a fluke multimeter or a full fluke multi-pack, and it's just another little addition to a great fluke kit. What you do is these little black tabs right here, you're able to pull them back, insert a wire in there, and then tighten this tab down, and you can see there is a little pin right in the middle, and that's able to pierce the wire, so you're not having to go shove your test light into all these wires, jabbing yourself in the hand. So in all, that tool does save you time. Next one, in general, I do have the two tools that you see here by Snap-on in the 14.4 line. I've got the 3/8 impact and the 1/4 inch electric ratchet, but they are tools that just in general are a part of the 14.4 line that is just an amazing amount of tools. They have the 3/8 electric ratchet, the 3/8 gun, the 1/4 inch gun, drills. They've got a line that fills whatever need you need in the shop. That's why I have to put the 14.4 Snap-on line into this list. Next one is going to be a Lisle tool. Not a Snap-on tool, yes, it is a Lisle tool. Test kit number 56810. It is a relay jumper kit. And as you can see here, these relay jumpers, you're able to unplug a relay out of the standard box that you're going and working with, and then plug it into the top right there. Plug this down back into the vehicle that you're working on, and it works just as it normally would with the relay plugged in, except for you have these nice little test pins here to use, or to jump across to be able to test the circuit while you're working on it. Another great kit that needs to be on your time-saving tools. Next one we come to is
it's going to be too loud for this. Feels okay. Good. Less vibration, right?
this Wilton, I call it the BFH. A really big frickin' hammer when those stupid rotors will not come off, and all you have is Grandpa's piddly little hammer that just has a little claw head to it. Nah, that stuff ain't gonna work. You need a real hammer to do the real job. Save yourself some time, save your energy, get a real hammer to take that stuff apart. As here in the rust belt, you know, you got to be able to take that rusty component off. Next one in line, I've got this one specific one out just because I use it most often, but they are torque sticks. These are able to go onto my 1/2-inch impact, which would go on like that. Put your socket on the end of it, and this is a torque stick. This one specifically is 100 foot-pounds, which is a lot of the Chrysler vehicles that I work on have lug nuts that go to 100 foot-pounds. Doesn't matter if I've got my impact gun turned up all the way. This thing, once it reaches 100 foot-pounds, will start to twist and then not allow that impact to put that lug nut on any tighter than 100 foot-pounds. You have to test these every once in a while. You know, they do wear out, so you'll have to replace them. I usually replace mine about every 3 to 4 years worth, which it is a long time, but it works really well. Next one is one that I did pick up very recently. I'm not sure of the part number on it, but it is another Lisle tool. This is for testing draws. So these leads right here, you're going to unhook your battery, preferably the negative end. You're going to put one end on the battery terminal, one end on your wire lead that would have went onto there, and then that will in turn connect the circuit. You let that go through a cycle to where all the modules are able to wake up and then die off, and then these two leads right here plug into your amperage and ground ports on your multimeter. At the time that you want to start testing them, all you have to do is flip a switch, and the amperage, instead of traveling in one of these leads out the other and just completing the circuit, will instead go through these leads and go through your meter. That takes down the time of having that spike in the system, and then you have to wait for the system to go back to sleep again, which takes 2 to 5 minutes. All in all, saves you time and is just very nice. You don't have to get a whole bunch of clamps and big adapters out because your meter leads won't fit on the end of the battery. It's a really great tool, and it saves me a lot of time. Next, moving on, is a small scan tool that I've had for a very long time now. I'm not even sure if they still have these or not, but it is a really good tool. It is a Blue Point EECR little diagnostic scan tool. This thing does an amazing amount of work for the price. When I purchased this, it was only about $140. So for that price for a scan tool, it's great. It's able to read 90% of engine codes across all manufacturers. Also reads and clears airbag codes. I know a lot of scan tools you were looking for are for the in and out diagnostics. This is just able to look at some input pins to this, and you're able to clear codes as well. When that's all you want to do, you want to go out to the car, you want to be able to read the code, you want to say, yes, I fixed that, clear it, and I don't have to wait on my Zeus to power up and take like 7 or 8 minutes to, you know, click through all the little buttons and find out which vehicle I need and want, auto ID it, and then look in through each module, look for the code. This is a lot faster. Turns that 8 minutes into 30 seconds. Awesome time-saving tool. And then one of the last ones we have here, I just picked up about 2.5 weeks ago, and I've used it about 5 times, and it saves the most time probably out of all of these tools. It's the Snap-on Cooling System Refiller. Part number is SVT-SRAD-272A. I know a lot of other technicians have done things here on YouTube showing you how this works, why it works. In, you know, just a short little tidbit, it goes onto your radiator cap, uses shop air to pull a vacuum using Venturi, takes it down to 25, I believe it's inches of mercury in vacuum, and then you're able to put this into a coolant bucket, open the other end, and it sucks and fills the system, fills the entire cooling system without having to bleed anything. And for you other Mopar guys, the Dodge trucks, we've been doing a whole lot of water pump recalls lately. Using this tool turns that 15-20 minute, maybe even half-hour bleed time for those trucks to about 3.5 minutes. The longest thing that I have to do is get a 5-gallon bucket, clean it out to make sure it's clean, to fill the system. All in all, this is one of the most time-saving tools that I have. And if you were wondering, that was only 9 tools. So the 10th tool, it is a time-saving amount of tools, and it's not just a single one. When you look at Technician, you've always got these fancy little pockets here. Well, these pockets are always full of just junk usually, but these are the main 3 things that I use. We've got a fancy little pen flashlight. I've got a Milwaukee one right now, but in general, you can use a Snap-on one, you can use a Streamlight one. I prefer the little Streamlight ones, but anytime somebody says, hey, come have a look at this one real quick, instead of having to walk over to my toolbox, get a flashlight out, go and have a look, it's time I just flip this out of my pocket, have a look, it works. Always have to have a pen. You're filling out documents as a technician all day long, you need a pen. And the best tool in any good mechanic's arsenal is the trusty magnetic flat tip screwdriver. I don't really know of any circumstances to where you really need a flathead screwdriver for taking out flathead screws. It never happens. But you need trim clips taken off, you need something a little pried out, you need a piece of trim pried off. That's what that's good for. You drop something into a little vent, magnetic end, works great. It's magnetic, it's able to pick up screws that you drop, and fits in my pocket, stuffed away to work away all day.